Hey guys, welcome to Vegas Vixen in the kitchen. So today we're going to be making another one of Gordon Ramsay's famous dishes, Beef Wellington. And today I have my best friend Natalie with me. She's going to be assisting me. So first we're going to start off with our mushroom duxelle. So here I have some baby portobellos, and we're just going to put it into the food processor and pulse it out. We want to make sure that it's not overly processed or too mixed, because then once you cook it down it shrinks, and then we don't want that. We want to still have some texture in there. So we're just gonna pulse it, right? Yep, just like that. That's perfect. A couple more pieces. That look good? Yeah, that looks great. Okay. All right, so we're gonna take that out, and then Natalie's gonna cook it over the stove. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the moisture out of the mushrooms. So we're gonna season it now because the salt brings out the moisture. And then we're gonna hit it with pepper towards the end. So once the salt brings out the moisture, Natalie's gonna also cook it down, and then we're gonna dry it out, and then we're gonna chill it. Okay, that's good. Yeah, perfect. Set that aside.
So we're gonna go it over?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what temperature do you want it?
We want to make sure the pan is extra hot.
Okay. Do I add any oil?
Yeah, we're gonna add a little bit of oil to the pan. And then we'll let it heat up a bit before, yep, that's perfect. And we're gonna let it heat up a bit before we add the mushrooms. All right, so now that the pan feels nice and hot, we're gonna add the mushrooms.
The oil is ready. Okay.
Nice. You hear the nice sizzle. Now we're just gonna cook it until the moisture renders all out and the mushrooms are nice and dry.
Okay. You obviously don't want to cover it, right?
No, we're just gonna cook it.
Okay.
And you want to make sure your pan is extra high on heat. And we really, really want to bring out that moisture.
Should I let it sit for a little?
Yep. So actually, Natalie is a really good cook also. She actually makes the best Mexican food I've ever tasted. And honestly, any Mexican restaurant that I've been to in Vegas does not compare. So
we should open a restaurant.
Yeah,
Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll look into it.
But for sure, maybe we'll have her guest star one day and make us or teach us a Mexican dish.
Yeah. Maybe like flautas or something. Yeah, taquitos. That would be good.
And then if you look at the mushrooms right now, you see that all the moisture is
already coming out. Yeah.
Coming out of the mushroom. So we just want to cook it down until all of that dries out. All right, now that it looks like it's just about dry, we're going to hit it with some black pepper.
Okay.
A little bit of black pepper. And then we're going to toss it around a little bit. And then we're going to take it off the heat and let it cool for about 5-15 minutes until we're ready to roll.
So I can take it off?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that cooked down a lot. Perfect.
And so now that we have the duxelle cooling down, we're gonna start on our fillet. So what we wanna do is salt and pepper it before we sear it. And I got this piece of beautiful fillet from the Butcher's Block here in Las Vegas. And if you guys are local, they have the best quality meats, and I go to them for everything. So I'm just gonna open it up. I wanna make sure that you season it really well.
Yeah, that looks great.
It's beautiful. Yeah. So here we are. Some kosher salt. Some black pepper. Make sure it's fully covered. All sides. Wow.
You're even getting the ends of it?
Yeah. We gotta make sure.
The whole thing.
Because it's a really thick piece of meat, so you wanna make sure we season it well from the outside.
Okay.
All right, now that it looks fully covered and seasoned with salt and pepper, we're gonna take it over to a really hot pan and sear it.
Cast iron. Yep, prefer.
Yeah, I prefer a cast iron because it has a controlled heat. So it's really high heat and it cooks evenly. So here I have my cast iron, and I'm gonna use some grapeseed oil because it has a high smoke point. So I'm just gonna oil the pan a little bit. Just gonna dump all of it in there. And we're gonna make sure it's nice and hot. I think it's okay. Okay. Before we start searing. Natalie, could you do me a favor and actually grab some tongs? Of course.
Get some long ones.
Perfect. Okay. All right, so the pan looks about hot, but I want to make sure it's really hot, so I'm just gonna let it heat up for a little bit longer, maybe like 2 minutes longer. And you can see the oil kind of like shimmering and moving, so I'm gonna lay it in there. And we want to make sure we sear it from all sides.
Let me step out to wash my hands. Don't you just love that noise, that sizzle, and that smell of beef and then hot oil? I love steak so much. I eat steak all the time. I don't know how people prefer like chicken or anything like that. Like I love beef and red meat. Jinx. Red meat all day.
Alright, so let's check to see if there's a good sear. It's not quite there. So we're just gonna let it sit there for a little bit. And this is what I mean by you want your pan extra hot because you want it to have that nice golden color. Like I don't want it to cook through.
Oh, I mean, that's a nice color.
Not bad.
Yeah, good.
I'm gonna check it first. Leave this a little bit.
So if you don't have grapeseed oil, would you recommend avocado oil or olive?
If you don't have grapeseed oil, I mean, I wouldn't really recommend olive oil, which is like not like an extra virgin, but just like a fine one. But I personally really prefer grapeseed, and then maybe avocado because the smoke point is a little bit higher on that too.
Okay.
So I'm gonna check it and then probably turn it.
Wow, I like this.
Like, that is the color that you're looking for. So we're gonna sear it.
It's about a minute on each side.
Yeah, a minute to 2 minutes on each side will be perfect. You definitely don't want to cook the beef through. Let's do this one around.
You're gonna steam.
You know, like it's not hot enough, we're just sear, and we're done.
Yeah, I guess steam, you know? Even if we don't leave it hot enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's really still gonna be raw in the middle. For the most part, it's tasting it.
Yeah, right there.
This side might be well done though. Like once we like bake it. Now we're just gonna sear this other side, and then we're good. Take it off and let it chill.
Can I bring over the cutting plate?
Now we're gonna put it on the plate.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting that beautiful golden brown. And once we sear it all on one side, we're gonna take it off the heat and let it rest. And then once it's cooled down, we're ready to roll the Beef Wellington.
Okay, I'm gonna set this aside.
So now that we have our mushroom duxelle nicely chilled and we have our filet fully rested, we're ready for the next step. And I already have some plastic wrap laid out, and we're gonna do a layer of Parma ham. So I actually separated it with some wax paper so it's easier to handle. And Natalie, could you do me the honors of taking the wrap off? And then we're just gonna do one layer of Parma ham, and they're not perfect, but that's okay. And then we're gonna have another layer, so that way we make sure the fillet is fully covered. And we have a couple extra pieces here to just fill out the empty spots. This and this. Put it right there. Oh yeah, we can have a little piece there. Just take some from right there. Perfect. And now we're gonna do a layer of the mushroom duxelle. Natalie, would you want to do the layer? So it's just the mushrooms?
We're just gonna add it on top?
Yep. And then we're just gonna lay it flat in a nice layer.
I think I should use my hands instead.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Here, I'll
So we're gonna
spread it on.
We're kind of just concentrate it a little bit towards the middle.
Okay.
Because we're gonna wrap it around. And don't be afraid to get down and dirty by using your fingers. So we're gonna spread it out a little even thin layer. And then now we're ready to add the fillet. I'm gonna actually wash my hands real fast. You wanna wash your hands too, Natalie?
Yeah.
Now that we have our mushroom duxelle and our Parma ham layered, we're gonna take the fillet and brush it with some Dijon mustard. So Natalie, can you brush it with some Dijon mustard?
On all sides?
On all sides. Get it nicely dressed, and then it's ready to go.
Okay, so.
Perfect. I've never been really a fan of mustard growing up. Like, I was always just mayonnaise. But as I got older, I feel like
Taste buds change.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. When we lay it on, am I gonna do the other side?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do that like that. Now we're gonna take it and we're gonna place it in the middle, and then Natalie's gonna finish brushing it when I take this away.
Alright, that looks good.
Perfect. Now we're gonna roll it nice and tight. We want to make sure each side is covered in the mushroom duxelle. So I'm gonna just have the Parma ham. Well, Parma ham is the same thing as prosciutto. Off a little bit, just to make sure that the fillet is fully covered in the duxelle.
Sticking on it?
Yeah. So hard to handle. So we're gonna go like this. And then fully covered it from both sides. Nicely wrapped. We wanna make sure it's super tight. And then we're ready to roll. So I wanna make sure it's extra tight, and that way it stays in that form. We're gonna roll nice and tight, and we're gonna close the sides. And then we're gonna let it chill in the fridge for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then we're ready for the puff pastry. So while we had the filet and the mushrooms and the Parma ham chilling in the freezer, or well, the fridge, I put it in the freezer so it would chill faster. While that was resting and chilling, I have the puff pastry here. I bought this and it's store-bought, but I realized that when I laid it out, it was a little short, and so I put it out and I used a rolling pin to spread it out a little bit. Now that we have it spread out, we're gonna cover it with a little bit egg wash. So Natalie, would you do me the honors?
On the whole thing?
Yes. So
need a lot.
brush it nicely even and cover the whole thing.
Yeah, get it. Okay.
And then once we're ready, and once it's fully covered, we're ready to roll it with the filet.
Do you need to add seasoning to this?
Nope,
Okay.
just the way it is. Perfect.
All right.
All right. So now we have our nicely chilled Wellington with the Parma ham and the mushroom and the Dijon mustard. We're gonna unwrap it nicely, and then we're gonna place it in the middle, and then we're gonna wrap it again and roll it super tight. All right, so nice and tight, and then we're gonna turn it out, and then from the other side, fully covered. Make sure the filet is fully covered. And you can always cut the excess of the sides and put it on to wherever you feel needs it. So we can just typically fold it like this. And then we're going to...
Do you want to keep the excess? So you want to try to stretch it out?
That's fine.
Okay.
I mean, maybe we can just pinch it up or stretch it out into the middle. Yeah, perfect. And then we're gonna roll it nice and tight like we did earlier. Yeah, a little bit of mushroom sauce here on the inside, perfect. All right, so nice and tight.
And you're gonna chill this again?
Yep, we're gonna chill it again right before we put it into the oven. So we're gonna wrap the sides, get all the air out. I think this one has a little bit of air.
You know what goes good with this, guys? Red wine.
I mean,
I'm like, where's your glass? I'm over there.
right
Cheers,
here.
me.
Great.
How long are you gonna chill it for?
We're gonna chill it probably about 10 to 15 minutes so it's nice and cool, and then we're ready to bake it. I just gotta get this air out so it's nice and tight. You wanna help me with the other side? Awesome. And now that it's nice and tight, we're gonna stick it into the fridge. So while we had our beef Wellington chilling in the fridge for 15 minutes, we preheated our oven to 425. Now we're going to grease our pan just so that the puff pastry doesn't stick. Yeah, nicely greased. Okay. Now we have our beef Wellington right out of the fridge, and we're going to place that onto the pan. Whoa, 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 it's okay. And we're gonna just move it. And now that we have it onto the pan, we're gonna brush it again with egg wash. And then we're gonna nicely coat it.
All sides.
On all sides.
Does that look okay?
Yep, that looks perfect.
Should I get underneath?
No, I think that's good.
Okay.
And then like the sides, yeah, perfect. And then now that we have it fully covered in the egg wash, we're gonna score it. Basically, you can score it however you want. I think I've seen other recipes where you cut slits into it, but I like to just try to do a random art pattern. So I'm just gonna go straight down the middle and maybe do like a leaf-like score.
You're not really cutting into the dough either.
Yeah, no, I'm not really cutting into it. I don't know if I don't know if I should or not, but the last time I made this, it worked perfectly fine the way I did it. And then there you have it, nicely scored, and is ready to bake. So now that Natalie has put it into the oven, we're gonna let it bake for 40 to 45 minutes. Or if you have a trusty thermometer like I do, I like to test it out, and once it's 120 degrees, it's the perfect medium rare that I'm looking for. So it's been about 40 minutes. It's reached its perfect 120 degrees. So I've taken it out the oven, and we'll let it rest for 5 minutes, and so here it is.
I'm excited for this.
I'm super excited. I'm really hungry actually.
Okay.
And it's a nice golden brown. We're gonna take it off of the sheet pan. We're just gonna go like this. And
I can hear like the crispiness from the bread.
Oh yeah, it's like nice. It's really nice crust, super flaky. And then we're gonna cut into it.
Nice flakiness. Ooh, you instantly start seeing the juices come out.
Oh yeah, oh no. But the flakiness of the pastry, it's tricky. That's good. All right, we're gonna cut about 3 slices here. And get it down. Try to be as clean as possible. It smells amazing. And as you can see, it's the perfect medium rare. There you have it. We're gonna just garnish it with a few rosemary sprigs on the side. We can clean up sides a bit.
And this obviously goes good with potatoes,
you know, asparagus, whatever kind of size you like. If you want to do like a roasted cauliflower or something like that, it'd be perfect. I personally like my beef Wellington with a little bit of red wine sauce, so you can do that also. And there you have it.
Ooh, you should actually show them on the next video on how to do the sauce for it. It's actually really good.
Until next time.